if you want great relationships with other people, you got to deal with yourself. To have great friends, you got to be a great friend.
Today's Soulful conversation is with an author, international speaker, leadership coach, and the founder of New Hope Church in Texas. He's the president of Growth Resourcing Group and the author of the new book, which is coming out February 10, 2026, Unknown: Finding Connection in a Disconnected World. Kit, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Thank you, Toby. It's great to be here. Good to be on your show, or back on your show.
Yes. Thank you so much for, coming for the second time to the show. I'm really grateful and happy to have you again here as a guest. And I'm looking so much forward to learning about your new book. How pumped up are you about it?
Excited. Pretty excited. It launches February 10th, so that's just a few weeks away.
Yes. And everything we're doing this episode is basically to talk about the book, because I was going, through the information about it in preparation of this conversation. And I find it very relatable and very intriguing what you're going to release in February 10, about finding connection, feeling disconnected. A lot of us feel, lonely. A lot of us feel like we don't belong. A lot of us feel lost, basically. And, your book, takes us on that journey of finding connection and, finding who we are also. Yeah. But before we go into all of that, would you play a game of wild cards with me?
I'm ready.
You're ready. So, 3 levels. First level is the icebreaker. Second level is confessions. And third level is getting deep. I'm shuffling the first stack of cards right now. And I get to just pick a card randomly. And I get to ask you this question. And the question is, what is something simple that makes you smile?
Something simple that makes me smile?
Yes.
A beautiful sunset. I love it. Man, we have some beautiful sunsets in Texas. It's incredible.
I can imagine.
Makes me smile.
Yeah, the simple things of life, right? What nature gives you, you don't have to pay for it. And yeah, I love that so much. Are you ready for the next card?
Ready.
Yeah. So I picked the card already. And the question is, what is something meaningful to you, but not to others? It's kind of related.
Meaningful to me, but not to others.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that one. I don't know. When my sports are really meaningful to me, so a lot of people roll their eyes or like, who cares, but I really care about my Dallas Cowboys.
I've heard about them before. They're really good.
They used to be good.
They used to be, okay. I still have the old status. Okay. Yeah. Dallas Cowboys. That's a good one. Ready for the last one?
I'm ready.
Wild card. This is the Getting Deep, level 3. The question is, what is a chance you wish you took? A chance you wish you took?
No, I'm pretty big risk takers. Let's see. A chance that I wish I took. So I really want to climb Kilimanjaro, and I have been to Tanzania several times, and I've not done it yet. And I really wish I had. So hopefully I will in the future, but I haven't done it yet. So.
I mean, this is not the card, but what is holding you back from climbing Kilimanjaro? Is there something holding you back?
Time. It just taking the time to do it,
Yeah.
So I just need to do it.
Do it and let me know about it once you're done. Yes. Send me a message or something. Say, hey, Toby, I did it.
Yeah, I'm excited to do it.
Yeah.
My son wants to do it with me, so we're going to have to do it together.
That makes it much more fun, right? Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for, answering those 3 random questions. It's just a way to get to know you, in a different way. I mean, I know you already to an extent because you are on the podcast already, and we talked about, your mission work and everything that you do, even in Africa too. But in this conversation, we're looking deeper and looking into finding connection. And your book titled Unknown: Finding Connection in a Disconnected World. I really want us to dive into it. Like, what does it mean on a soul level, to feel unknown, even when we are surrounded by people?
Yeah. The idea behind the book is we are more technologically connected than ever, with our phones, podcasts, internet, all the things. We're so connected. Like I literally can drive down the road, talking to someone in another country, in Africa. I can be driving down the road in America talking to someone. Like 30 years ago, that would have been science fiction. And now it's just commonplace. So we have all this technological connection, but the surveys and the research over and over again show that we are more relationally disconnected than we've ever been as human beings. We're more isolated. Even though we've got people around us, we have friends on social media, we have likes and, follows and all the things. Most people feel way more disconnected than they would like to. And part of that is, I think, technology. I'm not saying technology is bad because I use technology. We're using technology right now. I don't think technology is bad, but it does have a downside in that it tricks us, it fools us into believing that we're more connected than we really are. So because of all this technology and all this opportunity and all these likes on our social media page, we think we're connected, but then internally we feel like, man, I don't feel like anybody really knows me.
Yeah.
The curated social media version of me, but who really knows me? Because all of us need people in our lives who know us and we know them, the real us, and we know the real them, and we still love each other. That's what we all desperately long for. It's what I call an inner circle. We all need an inner circle of people that really, really, really know us. Not just know about us, not just know certain things about us, but they really know us. They know the good, the bad, the ugly, and they still love us. And we know the good and the bad and the ugly about them, and we still love them. That's what we long for. And so often we feel like kind of know people and they kind of know me, but not as
No, that's good. They don't know my authentic self, or they don't know 100% about who I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
But do you think we can know people 100%? Or do you think, for example, if we were friends, do you think you can know me 100% or I can know you 100%?
Maybe not 100%. I think maybe only God can know us that well. But I think we can know each other a lot better than we do. And a lot of times the reason we don't is because there's this voice in our head that says, if they really knew this about me, they would not like me. Or if I really told them who I really am, they would reject me. And that voice causes us to hold back. And then on top of that, so it's layered, on top of that, we've had painful experiences in relationships where people did reject us or mistreated us. And so we build these walls around ourselves to protect our hearts. But then we do that. And then we're like, wait a minute, why don't I feel close to people? Well, because you built this wall. You have this wall around you and people try to get in and they feel this pushback, like don't get too close. And because of all those things, we end up feeling way more disconnected than we would like to. And honestly, a lot of people feel isolated because of that.
Yeah. You made mention of a point that I would like to bring back. Again, you talked about in this digital age, and I mean, I believe you read about that in your book too. You could have 1 million followers on Instagram, and you feel like once you're on your phone, you're connecting, you're chatting, but you really don't know anybody. Is that something you think we are all confusing right now for connection, like connection with the numbers or the people that we have in our virtual worlds? Is that something you think people nowadays are confusing or taking for? I'm connected to people, I have friends.
I would answer it this way. When we look on social media and we see like a celebrity or a social media influencer and they have 100,000 followers, whatever. And internally we go, man, they've made it.
Yeah.
They got it going on. But then you look at their lives And many times they're a mess. They're struggling, they feel isolated, they don't feel connected the way they want to, but somehow we get tricked into believing, well, if I had that, if I had 100,000 followers, man, my life would be amazing. Really? I'm not so sure. You might have money, but money's not everything. I mean, money's helpful and it gives you options, but it doesn't change your soul. It doesn't make you feel connected, doesn't speak to your innermost longings of your heart. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So, I mean, I was just asking that question because, I'm trying to get to the bottom of this, or to differentiate the difference between, sometimes like you said already, we look at celebrities with their hundreds of thousands of followers, and we see them having that visibility, that global visibility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think you answered it already in the first when you when you talked about being known for who you truly are,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of us confuse that visibility for being truly known. Like we say, oh, I know my favorite celebrity.
Yeah.
He posts this and she posts that all the time. I know where she is right now, or where he is right now, what he's doing right now, what he loves. Yeah. So I was just trying to get that difference, that there's truly a difference between being visible, being all out there, posting on my WhatsApp story or Instagram story all the time, 24/7. People actually know me for who I am also.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And part of that too is it's easier to get followers on social media than it is to build real relationships. Real relationships are hard work, you know? It's like, whoa, this is, because we disagree sometimes and we don't see things the same way and we get hurt by each other. That's painful, but we run after this thing that's so much easier, and it's easier to get followers. It's easier to get likes. It's easier to do all those things. It's not nearly as fulfilling and life-giving.
That's true. Because at the end of the day, once you drop that phone, you start feeling empty again, or you could start feeling
Yeah,
empty again.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And lonely. Yeah. So it's something I came across when preparing for this. You say nothing great happens without great leadership and
Mm.
great relationships. So which one do you think most people struggle with more? Is it leading themselves or relating deeply with others?
I think they kinda go together in a way, if we're not leading ourselves well, we're probably not going to build great relationships because 'cause we're
Mm,
gonna have all these issues in our lives that we aren't dealing with and that are popping out and pushing people away from us. But if we lead ourselves well, then relationships happen more naturally and go farther. So I think they go together, is it chicken or the egg? Which one comes first? And, um,
yeah.
but I do think it is important to focus on working on me because I find a lot of people who struggle with relationships are in the blame game. So it's like, well, this person did that, this person offended me, or this person did that, and I don't like my boss, and I don't like my kids, and I don't like my spouse, and I don't like, well, who's the common denominator in all those relationships?
I
It's
am. Yeah. Yeah.
you. If everybody in your life is an idiot, you might be the idiot. You might be the biggest idiot of all.
Yeah.
So, if I'm struggling getting along with people and I'm always offended and I'm always mad at everybody, I gotta look inside, not outside, and say, "Okay, man, what do I need to deal with? What do I need to own?" If you're a person of faith, God, show me my heart, show me what I'm missing.
Yeah.
Maybe go see a counselor or a pastor, a therapist or somebody, a coach, a life coach, and say, here's what's going on in my life. Help me see what I cannot see." Because we all have blind spots, and they're called blind spots for a reason because you can't see them. I have blind spots, but I don't know what they are because I can't see them. Same with you, your audience. All of us have blind spots, so we need other people with permission to speak into our lives to say, "Hey, I think you're not seeing this. Let me explain this to you." And we gotta be willing to hear it and listen to it and actually do something about it. Yeah, we gotta if you want great relationships with other people, you gotta deal with yourself. And I'll just say it a different way. To have great friends, you gotta be a great friend. And so Yeah, I got to work on me.
Yes, I've got to work on me because to have great friends, I have to be a great friend, even to myself. Yeah, to love
Yeah,
myself too.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I can relate to that point of blind spots. We all have blind spots, basically. Sometimes people, or friends, talk to me about, hey, Toby, I see the way you act that way, or the way you behave or respond to things. I'm like, oh my god, I didn't even know that's the way I'm responding to it. I did not even take note of it, basically. But thanks for pointing that out to me.
yeah,
I think it's also very. I mean, I'm learning that, but it's also very important, like you said already, to embrace our flaws, embrace our blind spots, and not defend ourselves and say, no, 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 I don't think you understand what me or you understand what I was trying to do or something. But just accept it and analyze it and see, oh, maybe
yeah.
that's a point for me to work on. Yeah,
The wisest people I know are not always the smartest people in the sense of they have the most knowledge. The wisest people I know are people who are willing to listen and hear things they don't necessarily want to hear so they can get better.
that's true, 100%. So your book speaks about moving relationships from lifeless to vibrant. And I was like, yes, Kit must answer this question because a lot of relationships that once upon a time they were vibrant, once upon a time they were alive, all of a sudden they died, basically. So I just like to know, like, what are the subtle signs that a relationship is alive versus
Mm,
the signs that, oh, this relationship is slowly dying.
yeah. So let me back up a little bit to get there to that. So whenever I ask people like what kind of relationships do you want? They never ever use words like boring, stagnant, same old, same old. They don't ever use words like that. They use words like, I want it to be adventurous. I want it to be exciting. I want it to be new things. I want it to be passionate. Those are all words of passion. But the thing is, you can't have passion without risk. So if you're not ever risking in a relationship, you're not ever risking anything, your relationship is going to die over time. It's not going to be any fun. It's going to be the same thing over and over and over again because there is no passion without risk. So if you see a young couple, you see this young couple that's romantically involved and they're so excited about their relationship and they're like they can't hang up the phone. They're like, "Oh no, you say goodbye. No, you say goodbye. I'm not gonna. I love you. I love you." And they're texting all night. They're just so in love. What's happening there? Well, they have risked everything. They've risked their whole heart. They've just said they're all in. And because of that level of risk, there's tons of passion there and excitement about the relationship. And then you see a couple who maybe they were at one point, they were really in love, And then a few years later, you look at them and you're like, ooh, that relationship is dead. It has no life to it.
Yeah.
I will guarantee you somewhere along the way, one or both of those people stopped risking their heart. They started holding back. They started saying, I'm not going to risk my heart anymore. I'm not going to share those deep things anymore. I'm not going to be vulnerable with you anymore. And that kills relationship. It's only as we take risk and we share more vulnerably, we open ourselves up to each other. That's where relationships have real life. That's where passion comes from. So the signs that a relationship is dying, nobody's risking. Nobody's being vulnerable. And pretty soon, who cares?
Yeah.
There's nothing there. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. What I'm thinking about right now is how do I get to that point where I'm holding back? Like what happens that I start to hold back? Is it because of some I mean that's what was running through my head when you was talking about that, like wow, that's so touching. Like, is it because the partner has hurt me in some ways? Am I going through something else? And that's why I feel okay.
Usually it's pain that's not been dealt with,
Mm,
or I tried to deal with it and you responded poorly and that hurt me even more. And so now I'm just shut down. That's usually why we stop risking because we're trying to protect ourselves. It's like, if you touch a hot stove accidentally,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, I'm not going to do that again,
That's true.
you
Yes.
know, and
Yeah.
that makes sense rationally. It doesn't work in relationships because we are hardwired for connection. That is our design. We are designed for connection with other human beings. So when we back off and we hold and we build those walls, like I was talking about earlier, and we hold back, we think, oh, I'm going to protect myself and I'll be happier. No, you
That's not gonna happen.
just create more pain for yourself because you're designed for connection. And then you don't have it because you have these walls up. And then you're hurt and frustrated because you don't have the connection that you really want and that you're made for, but you kind of did it to yourself. Of course, out of pain, which is understandable, but at some point you got to deal with the pain so that you can re-engage relationally.
Relationally, yes. Wow. So that means for us to revive a dying relationship, we have to let go of those walls, work on, whatever has hurt us in the past, and, see how we could forgive one another and then get back to where you are able to be vulnerable with one another again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because what most people do is they say, oh, I got hurt. Now I'm going to cancel that relationship. Now I'll go to the next relationship. Well, guess what? You're taking you with you. You still have your same issues, that you're taking into the next relationship. So until you deal with that stuff, you're going to keep perpetuating the same thing over and over.
I have a question B to that. Like, what do you think people are, and what are people, often tolerating in relationships that their soul is, actually starving from? Like, what do you think people often tolerate in relationship, but, their soul?
Do I think they're what in a relationship?
Like, what are people often tolerating in relationships that their soul is actually starving from? Like, they're tolerating some behaviors or some traits in relationship, but their soul is starving from it.
Yeah, oftentimes we tolerate things because we don't want to be confrontational, So we tolerate things that are unhelpful in the relationship or unhealthy in the relationship. And that could be in a friendship, that can be in a work relationship, that could be in a romantic relationship. But we tolerate things that are really intolerable to our souls in the name of, well, we just want to get along. We don't want to, I don't want to cause any problems. I don't want to, create a conflict here. So I'll just tolerate this, but you can only tolerate it so long. And we think, well, I'll just push that emotion away, that negative, where it's hurt or pain or fear or anger or whatever it is. And think, I'll just push that away and I won't deal with it. The problem with the negative emotions is you cannot push them away. You can only push them down. And they're cumulative. So you keep pushing these negative emotions down. I'm feeling fear. I'm feeling pain. I'm feeling anger. I'm feeling hurt. Whatever it is. And I'm pushing it down, pushing it down, pushing it down, pushing it down until finally I can't push it down anymore. And then boom, it explodes in the middle of this over something that's this small. But because I've been pushing stuff down so long, it explodes. It's this gigantic thing that causes all this relational damage because I've been tolerating things that were damaging to my soul. So one of the examples I share in the book is, my wife grew up in a family like that, where you just push down, push down, push down, and you never showed emotion until it exploded and it was ugly and it was horrible. So we get married and, I could tell something was wrong with her, something's wrong. And she's like, nothing's wrong. I'm fine. And I'm like, no, something's wrong. And she'd say, well, 3 months ago, you said this and this and this. I'm like, what? You've been storing this up for 3 months? Why didn't we talk about it 3 months ago? And to get to that thing, initially I'm like, what's wrong? What's wrong? She's not even sure what's wrong. It's been building so long. It would take hours and sometimes days to get back to what it was that was really the issue. Whereas if we'll just stop tolerating things and talk about them when it happens, we can deal with it right now when it's this small, instead of waiting 3 months or 6 months or a year and it's huge. This gigantic thing.
Yeah.
I hope that makes sense what I'm saying.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I must confess something I'm also learning not to do, not to suppress my emotions or, just sweep things under the carpet and say, it's all right, it's good. Yeah, but to speak about them, yeah, it's
If it
really
hurts, it hurts.
helpful. Yes.
And it doesn't have to be like, "You hurt me," it doesn't have to be like that. It can be like, "Hey, when you said that, this is how it felt to me. Is that what you meant? Help me understand." It can be that simple. It doesn't have to be some complex thing, but we just need to talk.
I believe that talking and talk and being vulnerable with one another helps to build our connection also. The more based on experience, the more you like suppress the emotions, suppress the feelings, you start to feel more disconnected from the person and from other people around you too. Because you're
100%.
yeah, because
Yes.
you're holding on to things that are weighing you down basically.
Yeah, because part of the reason for that, Toby, is because something happens and, like, it's this small. It's not that big of a deal, but if I don't deal with it, it festers inside of me, and it starts to grow, and this thing that really wasn't a big deal becomes a gigantic thing in my mind because I start creating scenarios in my head. Well, what they meant was this, and the reason they did that's because of this. And we create all these scenarios and it just gets worse. And whereas if we would just talk about it right off the bat, the person can say, "Oh man, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean that. What I meant was this." And it's like, okay.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, I'm digesting that right now.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
You shared that you personally walked a path with disconnection. You moved from disconnection to deep connection. So, what was the turning point moment that made you realize something had to change in your life right now? Like something had to
Yeah.
change. What was that point where you realized that, oh, I'm totally disconnected, or and
Yeah.
I have to change this right now?
Yeah. I started my first organization in 1999, which sounds like a long time ago now.
Yeah,
And it kind of took off and it grew really fast. And most people would have said, "Oh, you're really successful and all these things." And I felt like, "Oh man, I'm doing good." And about 5 years into that, my wife was feeling she was just struggling so much with our relationship and she was feeling like almost like I had a mistress cuz not that I did, but she felt like my work was so much more important to me than she was. And one of my best friends just walked away. Adios, never wanted to see me again. And I was yeah, I was in serious pain, you know. It's funny thing with change, pain is a great initiator of change because without pain, we're kinda like, "I'm fine, I'm doing good."
yeah,
But the pain of my marriage struggling so badly and one of my best friends walking out of my life, it just took me to this place of, I've gotta do something different. I've got to change. I gotta figure out how to do this better, how to reconnect with my wife, which thank God we reconnected. We had some counselors help us and some coaches and some friends, and we did a lot of work ourselves and we reconnected. Never got that friendship back that I
mm,
lost. But now with my wife, I've been married 38 years and we're happier than we've ever been. And I have some of the best friends I've ever had in my life, closer than I've ever been. I would not trade my relationships for
yeah,
anything in my life right now. But it took that moment of deep, deep pain to realize I have got to change the way I'm doing life. I may think I'm good at relationships. I'm not. Clearly, I am not. And so I got to change. And that's a lot of what led to the writing of this book, what I share in Unknown.
yeah. I mean, you totally hit the nail on the head right there. Like sometimes it takes it takes us experiencing pain before we could, make some changes.
Yeah.
At that point in your life, did you also feel like did you experience some disconnection internally also? Like, you talked about, feeling that disconnection in your marriage with your wife and losing your best friend who left. Did you at that time also feel like some disconnection with yourself internally?
Yeah. I was struggling internally and with my relationship with God and just feeling like, who am I? Like, who is this person I've become and how did I mess this up so badly? And yeah, it was difficult and you start to question everything about yourself. Am I just incapable? I don't think I'm stupid, but maybe I am in this area, and I just took time and engaging growth and reading books and listening to mentors and coaches and listening to my wife at a whole new level. Because a lot of what was creating the distance in our relationship was me thinking I had all the answers and I didn't. And there were big gaps, where I was missing things. If somebody would have asked me before all that, if they would have said, "Who's the most important human person in your life?" I would have said, "My wife." Absolutely. She is the most important person in my life. But the reality is she didn't feel that way. She felt like all these other people were more important than she was. And what I learned in that, Toby, was I cannot be the measure of how other people are experiencing me. Like, I can think that I'm doing great, or I can think I'm showing love, or I can think I'm prioritizing a person. But if that person doesn't feel prioritized, if they don't feel loved, I need to change what I'm doing. I'm missing it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, yeah.
And that's where communication also comes into play, like asking, "Hey, I'm prioritizing you. Do you feel prioritized, or is there something I'm doing wrong?"
And I do that regularly now. I'm like, "Hey, I really love you. Do you feel love? Do you feel like I'm prioritizing you?" Those are dangerous questions. They're risky questions, like I was talking about earlier. But that creates passion, in the relationship because we can really talk about it. Sometimes she says, "Yeah, I do. I feel really loved. I feel like you're really prioritized." Other times she's like, "Well, not like you used to." And I'm like, "Oh, no.
But no, what am I doing wrong now?
What do we need to do? What do we need to talk about? What do I need to
Yeah.
do different?"
Yes. And that way you build a better connection with each other. Yes.
But I do that with my teams too. Like, I'll say, "Hey, how am I doing as a leader? What could I do better to be a better leader? What could we do better to be more connected?" And we talk about it. And it makes me a better leader when I talk about those. It feels risky though. It's like, do I really wanna hear the answer to that question? But I'd rather hear it and be able to do something about it than not hear it, and then a key team member just leaves, and I don't even know why. And I could have done something about it.
Yeah. That would be sad. In your book, you researched about, the connection between heart diseases, the way we feel in our lives, our health, and lack of connection also.
Mhm.
Like you talked about, lack of connection increases risk of heart disease, dementia, and even premature death. And I find that very intriguing. So I'd like you to, shine some light on that. Why do you think society still underestimates the power of relational health?
That's our history as human beings, right? We think, "Oh, if I get more stuff, or if I have more stuff than you have at least, then I'm doing good." Or if I, have more money or have a better job or have a nicer house or have a prettier wife, or if I, whatever it is, if I have the nicer clothes, or
Mm.
we're always measuring ourselves by thing. We measure ourselves against each other, and we're comparing each other by the things that we have or don't have. And it's fool's gold. You know that term?
Ah,
Fool's
yeah.
gold? Yeah. Because it does not matter at the end of the day how successful I am, or how much money I have, or how big my house is, or what car I drive. If at the end of the day, let's say I'm the most successful person I know, I win. But if I don't have anybody to share it with,
It's
who
vanity.
cares?
Yeah.
I'm just sitting in my big house by myself. I don't have any friends. I don't have any deep connections. Everybody around me are people who work for me. Is that a real I mean, are they there because they work for you, or were there because I don't, it's fool's gold.
Yeah.
It's like you think you're going to have all this happiness out of acquiring possessions. And no,
Mm.
if that were true, then the richest people on the planet, the most famous people on the planet would be the happiest people on the planet.
Yeah.
And in my experience, and I've been all over the world, I've been in some of the poorest places in the world and some of the wealthiest places. And oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes, people who have the least are the most happy.
Yeah.
Because they have real relationships, they have real community, they have genuineness, authenticity in their lives.
Mm.
There's nothing else to bank on. It's my
Yeah.
relationship with God and my relationship with these people. That's what I got. And it's crazy how happy they are.
I mean, I can relate to that because, I'm originally from Nigeria. And when I compare, the way a lot of people are in Nigeria, in the rural areas, and the way people are in the bigger cities, in the urban cities, you notice that difference, the quality of life. With little in the villages, they feel happy and they have friends everywhere. I mean, even though the buildings and everything and social amenities are not there, basic
Yeah,
amenities are not there, but they still feel alive. There are more than
yeah,
people in the city who are just struggling to acquire more things and all that.
yeah. And the point is not get rid of everything. You may need to get rid of some things for sure. I mean, any of us, we may have too much stuff that gets in the way. That's not the point. The point is, are you leaning on that stuff for your happiness? Because you're never going to be fulfilled. But if you lean on relationships and you really build genuine relationships, that's where real life is. I often say this, the quality of your life is based on the quality of your relationships. Full stop. That's it. That's what determines whether we have quality of life or not. And if we have deep community and real relationships and we have people who know us and we know them and we still love each other, man, I'm good. I'm rich.
Yes.
Now, if I've got money on top of that, awesome. I got a house and all the things. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
That's bonus.
Yes. I mean, I just remember right now, I mean, there's an adage we have from where I am. I'm Yoruba, and I mean, translating into English, it says, people are my clothes, basically. People are, the garments I put on. Without people, I am basically naked because I'm exposed. Yeah. And that just basically means, if I need anything, if I need, if I need help, I have people that are there to help me. And same way I am there to help other people too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the African philosophy of Ubuntu, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
I am because we are.
Yeah, that's true. I think we talked about this in the last episode
We
that we
may
recorded
have.
together. Yeah, I think so. Because I'm getting a deja vu right now.
Yeah.
Yes. No, so I would like to take this into our homes and even into church also. Because many people feel unknown, even within their family, like in their family settings or even in church, because a lot of us see our churches as a family too. So from your work as a pastor and coach, what do you think blocks authentic connection inside the home or the church?
I would say the answer is the same to both. It starts with leadership. So when pastors and parents are authentic and genuine and real, that's going to that creates a culture. It creates an openness where people feel like, "Oh man, I'm really valued here. I'm really loved. I'm safe. First of all, I'm safe here." Like, I'll just give an example from our church. Like, whenever I would talk about from the front something I was struggling with, I mean, those were the Sundays we would get the biggest response from people. I mean, they'd be like, "Thank you so much for sharing that. I feel that way too sometimes, and I struggle with that. Oh my gosh, thank you." I mean, it's just like people they're just drawn in, and they feel safe because it's like, you're the pastor and sometimes you struggle with things. So maybe maybe God's okay with me too. And I have some struggles and I'm working through things, and it just makes people feel safe. And then when people feel safe, they feel connected. And then they're able to build relationships in the context of that safety where it's okay to share your struggles. You might have heard this before, like, I think this is so true. People admire our accomplishments, but they're drawn to our struggles.
Yeah.
And it's really true for most people. I mean, there's some people that they don't want to hear anything negative. You don't want to hear any struggle. No, you got to be perfect all the time. Well, That's not the kind of people I want to be in relationship with. If I've got to be putting on a mask all the time and act like I'm perfect, we're not going to have much relationship, because it's going to be very surface.
Yeah.
But I want to be in relationship with people who are genuine, who are real. And yes, working on their stuff and trying to get better and trying to grow. But when they struggle, they struggle. And they say, "Hey, I'm struggling today. Would you pray for me? I'm wrestling with some things. My finances are not what I wish they were." Or, "You know what? I said something really stupid to my wife this morning. You ever do that?" And the other person goes, "Yeah, man, I do that sometimes too. Sometimes I'm just dumb." There's immediate a connection, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if I say, "Man, I said something really stupid to my wife this morning. You ever do that?" And they say, "No, I never do that." I'm like, "Okay, we're not gonna be friends,"
Yeah. Because the other person might feel weird about themselves, like, okay, I guess something's wrong with me, and I can't relate with you because you're perfect and I am not.
But yet I know you're not perfect.
That's
So
true.
that's just what we say BS. So I don't have much hope that we're ever gonna have a real relationship. And I'm kind of okay with that because at least now I know. I know you're that kind of person. You're not really a super authentic person. So at least now I know. That's why I tell people sometimes they're like, how do you know who to build relationships with? I'm like, well, take a risk, share something vulnerable, see how they respond. If they respond well, like they're like, "Yeah, me too," or "Man, that sounds really hard," or "Man, I'm so sorry." Hey, this is the kind of person you can take the next step with. But if they respond with, "Yeah, that's really weird. Why'd you do that? I don't ever do that." I'm out. I am
Yeah.
out. I'm like, "Okay, we can be an acquaintance, but we're not gonna be friends."
Friends.
I gotta keep it real.
True. Yeah. Wow. Well, I've learned so much from you, Kate, already. I'm looking forward to the book already, February 10th. I'm sure by the time this episode is released, the book is already out. I'm looking forward to people getting it already and learning how to, move from feeling disconnected to becoming connected.
Can I let your audience see it?
Yes, please. Let's see it.
Well, here's the cover,
Wow.
Finding Connection in a Disconnected World. And you can order it or buy it anywhere that books are sold. You'll be able to find it.
Oh, you
Yeah.
even have an advanced copy or something. Okay.
Yeah. This is one that came out before its launches. So it's actually got a few mistakes in it that we fixed for
Okay.
the few typos, that we
Yes.
fixed for the real launch.
And something about the book, I mean, I'm waiting to also get it. Knowing you offer practical tools for building genuine relationships. So I would like you to give us an hint into it, a little snip tip or something into it. Like if someone listening right now is feeling deeply lonely, what do you think is the first small step that they should take today?
Think what I said a few minutes ago. You're going to have to take a risk again. You're never going to get out of loneliness by secluding yourself and hiding in your room. That is not a solution to disconnection. That only perpetuates your disconnection. So at some point, you got to think about, man, who is one person that I'd just like to be a little closer to. I'd like to have a little bit more somebody you feel safe with, and then connect with them and take a little risk. Just take a little risk. Man, I've been feeling really lonely lately. You ever feel that way? That's a risk, because you don't know how they're going to respond. Or I've been feeling really disconnected, or I've just been kind of struggling lately. And you ever feel that way? And see what happens. Like I said earlier, if they respond well, it's like, okay, wow, we just made a connection. And now we
Yes.
can build on that. If they respond poorly, that's sad. Let's acknowledge that. It's sad and sometimes it's painful, but at least you know. Now you know, okay, this is not a person I'm going to go the next level with. So now if that happens, you think, okay, well, who else is there? Is there somebody else I would like to have a better relationship with? And You're going to have to risk. There's no passion without risk. There's no way to move from disconnected to connected without taking some level of risk.
Yeah.
And it's not easy to hear, but at least there's hope, man, because there's going to be some people who want more relationship with you. There are. You are not alone in this world. There's people that want to be your friend. You guys got to find them.
That's a very comforting word and very, motivating word. You are not made to be alone, and there are people out there that want to be your friend. You just have to find them, risk it, and be vulnerable with them, and you'll find the right people for yourself. So, with all said and done, like, what do you think it means for you to live a truly connected life?
What does it mean to live a connected life?
Yes.
It really means, Toby, for me, it starts with my relationship with God. Am I risking with God? Am I opening my heart to him, or am I staying hidden and secluded and behind a wall? That's what Adam and Eve tried to do. They
Yes.
up and they went and hid, and he went and found them. And so he's looking for all of us, So he's just looking and waiting for somebody who'll say, "Yeah, I'm here. I'm here," and take a risk with him, take a risk with him. And then out of that, or if you're not willing to do that, at least do that with some people, and find some people that you can connect with, that you feel safe with. And you might be in a situation, I'm talking to your audience now, you might be in a situation where you've been really hurt, maybe by leaders, parents, teacher, coach, pastor, somebody that you thought you could trust, and then you found out, oh, I can't trust them at all, and it's really, really hurtful. And this is where I think forgiveness plays such a huge role, because we're all broken as humans. That doesn't excuse anything, it's just a reality. It's just we're all broken, we all make mistakes, and so we're all gonna have pain in our relationships. So at some point, we're all going to have to forgive. It's part of life. We have to forgive. And some things are really, really hard to forgive. In fact, some of you might be hearing my voice right now and you're hearing the word forgive and you're thinking, there's no way, it's too much. There's no way I could ever forgive what was done to me. And I think you're probably correct. You probably can't, which is why you so desperately need Jesus in your life, because God's love is infinite. It never runs out. My love is finite. It runs out. So I need God's grace and love in my life to be able to forgive people who I cannot forgive. Because I've been hurt in my life at times so deeply that on my own, I literally could not forgive them. And God had to give me the strength and the love and the courage and the grace to do it. And so, yeah, I would say, yeah, maybe you can't. And that's why you need God's love so desperately. And his love is unlimited.
Yeah.
He loves you, and he wants to enable you to love everyone else. And that's the beauty of who he is.
That's true. Yeah, God is love.
I'll stop there.
God is love. Yeah, that's awesome. Your book is available, right now for pre-order from Barnes and Nobles. It's released on February 10, like we said. But for people out there who want to reach out to you, connect with you, even ask more questions or, get more information about the book, what's the best way to do this?
I have a website called keithspurgin.net. So KEITH, I think it's on the screen, SPURGIN.net. You can go there, connect with me, reach out to me there. And I'd love for you to do that. It's a great place. And you can also, there's a link to buy the book there as well.
Yes. So
one other thing, Toby,
yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but I'm going to have a devotional based on Unknown on the YouVersion Bible app.
That's awesome.
That's going to come out in February. So if you're a person who uses the YouVersion Bible app, you can find Unknown there as well.
But that's amazing. I use the Bible app every day, the YouVersion app every day. So that's a good news for me, because I'll just, look for it in the Bible plans and awesome. That's awesome. Wow, Keith, I've learned so much from you from this conversation. I've learned how to, move from feeling disconnected to connected again. And forgiveness is one thing that you mentioned at the end that I believe we all need. And if you can't do it, invite God's love into your life, and it's going to help you to forgive yourself, forgive other people, and live a much more whole life. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.